Emancipation by Barry Lopez. Who can say how the break between nature and cultural man came about or when? Historians of the West might trace it back to the rise of agriculture among early Sumerians 7,000 years ago in the Tigris-Euphrates Valley. Anthropologists tell us the breach is no neat rift, that it has no single cause central to the separation. Wherever and whenever it occurs, it is a shift in humanity's attitude towards its place. When one's home landscape, its animals, waters, plants, and earths, comes to be regarded as a servant, a producer of wealth and surfeit, the divide has opened. When the man who once plucked a few wild berries while traveling across the landscape he belonged to, a specific place, which occupied the heart of his daily prayer, evolves into a strategist for profit, the split has occurred. In essence, one's homeland, once included like a member of a family in the moments of life, has become a thing, an object, no longer part of the owner's moral universe. Once a part of the face of God, it is now chattel. In the meantime, we find ourselves in the Visa, CNN, AK-47 present, slightly alarmed by the weather, wondering how to ensure that the last few buttons of undisturbed land remain free of their punitive new owners' social and economic schemings. We must somehow counter the entrenched philosophy of the contemporary investor, be it corporate, individual, or governmental, the belief that every parcel of land must pay its way. If it cannot provide something marketable, they say, what's to be gained by keeping it inviolate? If it cannot serve, why care for it? Environmentalism has emerged as a movement for the emancipation of land, wild land. Nature without an audience is without equal as a symbol of unhindered life. Those who seek its manumissions are the same women and men who once drafted the most eloquent of arguments against slavery, colonial subjugation, and corporate exploitation and thievery. Global climate change is the great leveler in the environmental debate. Leaving our own fate out of it for the moment, it is now instructive to wonder how will wild lands respond. Beautifully, one has to think. Adaptation is its history, its legacy, no matter the stress, bolide impact, monocultured forests, rerouted rivers. Adaptation is its eternal answer. Wild land exists without regret, has no plan for improvement, no goal outside its own integrity. It is attractive to us partly because it has no defense against the laceration of road building, the penetration of mines, the scarifying of machinery. It is also attractive to us strangely because we intuit wild land is more apt to meet global climate change with more equanimity than our labyrinthine cities and our drought-stricken fields. Wild lands, of course, can give some empire builders pause. If he or she sees fresh land as more than a warehouse of goods or a mean wall between himself and other riches, the pause will do us all good. Wilderness is a warning to those who dream of controlling nature. Short-term triumphs, bumper crops, brimming reservoirs are no more than that, good in the short term only. Further, untrampled land, its innate worth defended by conservationists, offers yet another sort of warning to the would-be plunderer when strongly tempted by the promise of profit. Some people will still choose to hold such ground for the next generation. If the question remains, why preserve these areas, the answer cannot any longer be for tourism or the promise of new medicines or even to preserve minerals or timber for future use. Not if we have in mind the sense of integrity we claim the work of conservation implies. It has to be for emancipation. It has to. Because every pleader for preservation knows somewhere deep in his or her psyche that the effort to protect undisturbed land is an effort to break the stranglehold industrial man has put on the earth. It is an effort to reduce the reach of corporate muscle, an effort to staunch the bleeding of the brutalized oceans and their continents. It is a plea to reconcile. It's a call for principles that take us beyond the adolescent urge to plunder, to overpower, to win. In defending wild lands, we reclaim our dignity. The real work of preservation, then, is our own salvation. It is not to save nature. Nature will save itself, no matter what climatic or nuclear hell we plunge ourselves into. We are feeding on the food of our ancestors, those who had not abandoned nature in order to discover man, but who had gone deep into nature to discover the Eden of which man is a part.